2. We could all rise and pledge allegiance. There's a flag behind that curtain. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so good evening. Good evening. Our first order of business is an anticipated adjournment to executive session. Do I have a motion?
I move that we adjourn to executive session to discuss information relating to proposed pending or current litigation, collective bargaining negotiations, the employment history of particular persons, personnel matters and/or employee records, and matters deemed confidential by state or federal law, including seeking advice from counsel.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we are in closed session. We expect to be out in public at 8 p.m. sharp. Thank you all.
Okay, we are back. It is 8:05 p.m. and we are returned from our executive session. First item on the agenda is C1, student voice. Do we have students here today, Ms. Pineda? Great. First, we have Emily Pineda. Any relation? Come up, please, to the mic. Hi, Emily.
Good evening, Superintendent Chisholm and members of the Board of Education. My name is Emily Pineda, and I am a 6th grader. It is my pleasure to be here representing R.J. Bailey School. One of my favorite things about R.J. Bailey are the teachers, and I'm not just saying this to get on their good side. They are truly supportive and believe in all of their students. I would also like to talk about our specials, such as music and art. One thing I find especially fascinating are the art projects. This year we had the opportunity to create our own pottery using a kiln and pottery wheel at R.J. Bailey, which was an amazing experience. I would like to share one suggestion that could make R.J. Bailey even better. I think we should have more project-based assignments. For example, in my social studies class, I created an Egyptian pyramid during our ancient Egypt unit. And I would love to have more activities like this, and it just made it more fun and engaging. And I would like to have more opportunities for project-based learning. I would also like to give a special shout out to Miss Kim, my ELA teacher. I love her energy and her caring nature. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Pineda. Are there any questions, comments from the trustees? No? Oh, yes, Trustee Warner.
Could you tell us about your art project, the Egyptian project?
Oh, we had to write an essay about, we could choose mummification or Egypt pyramids. So we got to choose and we had to write an essay and we could create it our own. Like, for example, I made a pyramid out of sugar wafers.
Thank you.
Yes, and Trustee Mans.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I may have missed this, but did you share with us your favorite subject and why it's your favorite subject?
I would say ELA is my favorite subject because I enjoy writing. Like when I write, I just get into like a new world and I just like, it flows in my mind and I just love writing. And I might not love reading, but when it's a great story, then I get engaged.
Thank you for sharing, and thank you for letting us know how you love project-based learning. That was very good to hear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Miles Langley, grade 9.
My name is Miles. I'm a ninth grader, and what I like most about Woodlands are the teachers. Teachers like Miss Peralta and Miss Chicamani.
I can't hear you too well, Miles. Yeah, maybe lift it up a little bit because you're a little taller than Emily.
It's not.
Where's, can you help them? Oh, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What I like about Woodlands are the teachers. Teachers like Miss Peralta and Miss Chicumani, they push you to do better and to see the best parts of you and see the potential even if you don't. They always make sure you're doing the right thing and give you supplies when you need them. The teachers here are a really good support system. They help even if you don't ask, and that's what makes the teachers great. Another thing I like is the social workers, such as Mr. Gaines. Through MBK, he has prepared me for many things, such as speaking to a large crowd. Something that would make the school better are to change the tech room times, because some of us have lunch during those times and we can't go to the tech lab.
To change the tech room times?
Yeah, to get like our computer fixed, because some of us have lunch.
Okay.
Good night, thank you for having me.
Thank you. We might have some questions for you, Miles, before you run off. Don't go anywhere.
Okay.
Any trustees have any questions? Yes, Trustee Sempalayo?
Is this working? Yes. My question is about Miss Cinquemani. Have you learned how to love her love of anime, or did you already love it?
I already loved it.
Wonderful. Any other questions or trustees? Trustee Mans?
Hi, Miles. Thanks for sharing. Are you involved with any clubs or play any sports?
Not yet, but I'm gonna join next year.
Okay. Do you want to share what you might be interested in?
If there's a debate club here, then I'm gonna join that.
Okay.
We
Sounds
used
good.
to have a very lively debate club, so maybe if it's not there, maybe you could start it.
Okay.
Just need a couple of friends to get together, but we did used to have a debate club, so that'd be awesome.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, I was just about to ask you as public speakers, but you're on it, Ms. Pineda. Thank you. We have Ms. Lorraine Cantori, and she's going to talk about the budget, the current and future, Enhance Star 2019.
Best part of coming here is listening to the kids. It is just fabulous, just listening to them, and even the suggestions. That's the future. That is the future of this neighborhood, this state, and this country, and this world. Okay, so I have a friend that's probably not going to make it. I'm going to read this on behalf of a former board member. Let's see. Here we go. All right, I guess the clock is on. All right, so this is from Tanya Dragic, who was a board member a few years ago. Good evening. I am here to speak about the board's duty of fiscal stewardship. You are considering a 3.57% budget increase on top of last year's 4% increase. At the same time, enrollment continues to decline while per-student spending has climbed to about $50,000 a year. At some point, that should give you pause. This community is under tremendous fiscal pressure. Town taxes, food prices, gas, oil, and electricity are all rising, while wages are not keeping pace. Families and taxpayers are being asked to absorb more and more. So my question is this: when will this board decide to protect the community's resources? When will you seriously consider measures such as consolidating building use, reducing busing through greater reliance on neighborhood schools, adjusting staffing to reflect declining enrollment, and pursuing other real efficiencies? If you continue on this path, you risk cannibalizing the very community that supports this district. Where does this end? Okay, so I have a couple of things that I want to talk about. I saw in the budget, the district-wide condition survey. Was this higher, through competitive bidding? And were the taxpayers notified about this? And I'm talking about the transfer of capital interfund of $514,348 to repair the mansion roof emergency. I believe that The revolt that took place in 2019 that cleaned out a school board and got rid of a superintendent was because of a bond, which rippled into an effect of the taxpayers had enough. And I am starting to feel deep in my heart that we are at 2019. And when people are coming to you, a member, Dr. Carol Allen, spoke out 2 weeks ago, and I know because she spoke to me on the phone today that this is way too much. And I don't know, maybe most of you know that senior citizens are capped for enhanced star at $60,000 a year. I don't know anyone who could afford to live in a condo or a co-op for $60,000 a year and feed themselves or their pet if they're lucky enough to afford one. It is to the point where Dr. Allen said, go back, go through your list, and come to the people again. And when she told me, she checked today, you guys didn't do your due diligence, that just shows me that you're really not concerned about what the taxpayers and residents are saying. I respect Dr. Allen. She's one of my closest friends. If you cannot respect the request of a resident who was looking out for the best interests of the community as well as the taxpayers, then I don't know what, this is a woman that volunteers at the Baptist church feeding people. She's and she's a friend of mine, and I feel that by ignoring her request, you're ignoring countless other people. And this is one more thing that's very important. Using local and state taxpayer funds to repair or replace the school buses the school district uses to transport students from outside district is really an abuse of taxpayer money. That's number one. Using taxpayer funds to purchase materials, computers, equipment for out-of-district students, tuition that follows a student covers instruction and special services. They're not going to cover a bus that breaks down, or a brand new computer, or when the HVAC it needs to be repaired, or the plumbing needs to be repaired, or the landscaping equipment fails, or the roads, as I see right now, need to be repaired because I hit a few potholes. Groundskeepers, school cleaners, school building custodians, materials, etc. So I appeal to you as a resident, as someone who's wondering, should we mortgage the lives of senior citizens whose grandchildren do need quality education, but it's going to be at their expense because they're going to have to move, okay? And while Hochul is proposing all these cost-saving things, you need to understand that there's we're talking about $800 billion in tax-exempt properties.
Ms. Cantori,
Yes.
our time is up. So
Thank
I want
you.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. All right, are there any other public speakers? No? Okay, next I'm going to move on to introduction of new hires. Any new hires come tonight? No? And then we have our budget presentation number 3. So do you want us in the audience? Okay, thank you.
Is it up or down? Should be down. I just want to make sure. Are you good right here? I'm gonna change the words though. Wait, just to test it. You said down? Yeah. Okay. Change a little bit. Just a little. I redo it every time. Okay.
We come again for our proposed budget presentation. It'll be presented by myself and Ms. Shonda Merrill, Assistant Superintendent for Business. I'm not going to go through each of these slides because we go through all of them each presentation, but again, all with our students at the center of every decision that we're making. And then again, trying to revisit our budgetary beliefs. So again, making these decisions through the filter of students first, continuing to ensure that district and school staff professional learning and instructional needs are supported, ensuring that we maintain our current programming, if not, then trying to enhance our current instructional programming, and then also making sure that we're allocating resources that support the vision, mission, and goals of the district, as well as the strategic plan. So again, talking about those things that we think about when we're making those budgetary decisions and development. So again, students first, the strategic alignment to our goals, equity and access to instruction, technology, all of those things, fiscal stewardship and sustainability, so making sure that we're problem solving, but also doing it in the best way possible so that we're, again, maintaining our current programs and staffing. Obligations and compliance, which, you know, is the minimum that we have to do as per the state or the federal government, but how do we exceed that? And then taxpayer responsibility. Here again, we're just showing the alignment between our strategic plan and taking really from vision to the investment. So around student success, what does that look like for curricular resources, interventions, social emotional learning, our operational excellence. We have a lot of projects going on around this campus, so how do we make sure that we're augmenting but also maintaining our facilities, transportation, technology, maintenance, attracting and retaining top talent. So are we competitive with our surrounding districts for positions? How are we getting people to not just come to Greenburgh to teach and work, but to also stay here in Greenburgh to teach and work? And again, thinking about things for collective bargaining in our unions. Responsive relationships with student supports, family engagement, and communication. I've communicated this at prior board presentations around the budget, but the things that really drive these things are our salaries for our professional staff, contractual obligations, benefit and insurance increases on an annual basis, employee contracts and contractual negotiations, with making sure that we're in compliance with our collective bargaining agreements, student enrollment and program mandates for students with disabilities, for L learners, and making sure that we're in compliance, and transportation costs, as well as utilities and the rising cost of utilities. So here we're gonna turn it over, and we've made some changes, but I think there's a story to tell when we're talking about this at several of the budget conversations we've had in the community, as well as hearing feedback from parents and students and families around some of the staffing decisions that we were looking at in terms of reducing music, art, those type of things. But we really did go back and try to assess staffing in terms of the things that we need to add, that we would desire to add to support the district, and then where can we kind of see an allocation of funding to then go back to supporting those things that are really important to our students and our families and our community. And so with that, this is a revised version of the additions that we see in terms of adding FTEs to the district. And I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Merrill. We'll probably bounce back and forth here on these next few slides.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I just want to thank everybody who came out to our budget workshops that we had a couple of weeks ago. We did listen to all the feedback that was given to us, and you will see some changes in the budget. We'll be happy to answer any questions we have at the end. So here we show some changes to the additions to the 26-27 budget. We had originally proposed 4 building-based subs. We have reduced that to 2. We are adding a 1.0 elementary art teacher. We have reduced the security aides from 3 FTEs to 2 FTEs. We have also reduced the custodial, which was previously 2 FTEs to 1 FTE. And the security coordinator has been moved from a full 1.0 FTE to a stipend position. Previously, we had shown a reduction of a music teacher at the elementary level. That has been added back into the budget. We are looking to have some cost savings. We have a vacant part-time clerk position. It's a records management position that has been vacant most of this school year. We're going to not fill that position, access that position. And we were able to come up with some savings through retirements through breakage. For those that don't know what breakage is, a lot of times when you have senior teachers that are leaving, their salaries are much higher than the new staff that you're hiring. So the difference between the higher level salary and the entry salary is what we call breakage. We're going to talk a little bit about the property tax cap. We did not make any changes here. We are proposing a 3.57% property tax cap. It is well below, in order for us to stay within the 2% cap, we actually could go up to 6.14% with all of our capital exclusions. But we are going to be staying well below that at 3.57%. It's a total proposed levy of $72,250,599. So this is a little bit different than what you had previously seen in the initial budget. We are proposing a budget of $87,750,790. It is a total budget-to-budget change of 3.53%. We can see that the majority of our budget is taken up by salaries and benefits. We have no change to our equipment or supply lines or our textbooks. Our contractual line is increasing slightly. Our BOCES line has gone up a little bit, and that's because we're looking to take some of our services that we previously had contractually and put them through BOCES so that we can actually get aid on those services. Our debt service line has increased. We do have to take on an additional debt payment starting next school year, totaling $845,000. And we have an interfund transfer, which we'll be talking about on the next slide. So here's the capital interfund transfer of $514,348. This has been in our external audit for the past 2 years. These are negative that we have negative account balances on these projects that were completed several years ago. So we've been carrying the negative balance, and the general fund now needs to clear this up and make this whole. We do have a balanced budget. A balanced budget is when your revenue matches your expenditures. So here we show that our proposed 2026-2027 budget, our revenue totals $87,750,790. Most, obviously by looking at it, you can see that over 80% of our revenue does come from real property taxes. We do have a reduction in our pilots for next year. One of our pilots is going to be coming off and going back onto the tax roll. We have our sales tax from Westchester County. We are showing a slight increase in tuition revenue. Our interest earnings, again, we do have I feel that is attainable. State aid, we're projecting out an increase in state aid. Obviously, that is proposed. Hopefully, the state budget will be finalized within the next couple of weeks, and then we'll have a better idea of what our actual state aid will be. The numbers you see are from a projection that we did receive from Governor Hochul. And then we have other revenue. So we have a slight increase in the other revenue. A lot of things could be considered other revenue. Could be miscellaneous revenue, Medicaid payments, payments from a prior year expense. There's a variety of different things. Again, our budget to budgeting revenue, budget to budget change, 3.53%. So with our given property tax cap of 3.57% at $72,250,599, and the town of Greenberg's assessments, we created a slide showing what the impact to the taxpayer would be. Obviously, the town of Greenberg provides us with the assessment, the total town assessment. They also provide us with the average single-family home assessment, and we do a calculation to come up to what the cost would be per $1,000. So here you can see for somebody who had an average house of $744,502, your average tax bill would be $10,208.26. That is an increase of $848.88 from the current year. And at the bottom, I've broken that down. That would be broken down to $70.74 per month, $16.32 per week, or $2.33 per day. So there are some benefits to funding schools. When we support our school's budget, the whole community gains. Stronger outcomes, students succeed more when home and school work together. There's more opportunities. We bridge the gap. Extra resources help ensure no student is left behind. It also helps the community grow by attracting growth. Great schools draw more people and businesses to live and work here in Greenberg and Hartsdale. Some of our next steps for the 26-27 budget development. We do have a budget workshop scheduled on Tuesday, April 14th at Highview Elementary in the multipurpose room. On Tuesday, April 21st, we will have a budget presentation at the Board of Education meeting. We'll also be presenting the property tax report card and the budget to the board for adoption. On Monday, April 27th, we have a budget workshop here at Woodlands in the Innovation Lab. And we're constantly looking for direction from the Board of Education and feedback from our community. This is a timeline of some of the upcoming meetings. We just talked about the April meetings. Up at the top, you can see we do have a meeting on May 5th. That is at a board meeting. That will be the budget hearing. And on Tuesday, May 12th, we're going to have a budget workshop at the TDYCC Community Center. And that kind of brings us to our budget vote, which is on Tuesday, May 19th, here from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Oh, hang on a second. I don't know, it's not. Okay. That's pretty much the end, so you didn't miss much. The clicker decided to stop walking. So that concludes our budget presentation, and we're happy to open it up for questions at this time. I just don't like my back being, yeah. I just want to turn it so that, perfect. Oh, sure. Do we have another one? Thank you so much.
Okay, trustees, I saw Trustee Warner's hand. Do you have a question, Trustee Long, before I go all the way down there? Okay, here.
Thank you again for a thorough presentation. I'm going to go into details, so if you need to do some work for the answers, I'm okay with that. Starting on the page for the proposed budget, and it doesn't have a page number, I'm sorry, but the proposed budget outline. You talked about the contractual and the BOCES, that BOCES is picking up some of the things that we were doing contractually before, yet both of these line items are going up. Can you explain what's influencing the increase on the contractual?
Okay, so we always will try to use BOCES before going, for professional services out because it is aidable, but BOCES services do increase every year. There is a percentage increase that we do incur each year, and they determine what that is.
Just because we speak in jargon, can you explain aidable?
Yes. So services that are contracted through BOCES, we are able to receive aid on them. So I'll just give a random example. If we contract with somebody to do communication services, and their contract costs $175,000, and our average aid, because we have an average aid, some of them are a little higher, some a little lower, so different lines have different amounts of aid that you can get from BOCES. Our average aid is 37%. So 37% of 175,000 is, I think, 64, don't quote me, but I think it's 64,250. So those are services that otherwise, if we had gone outside of the district, would have cost us $175,000. Now it's going to cost us $110,000. Now there is a little bit of a caveat to that, though, which is our aid comes in the school year after. So obviously we're getting aid this year from things that we had last year, and the same thing will happen next year. We'll get aid next year for things that are happening this year. It's just like a revolving cycle. It just goes. But anytime we look for any sort of service, we would, and contractual services increase too, from year to year. It's inflation. We just don't have any control over that. Just like the residents who are struggling with the utility bills, I'll be honest, we're struggling with the utility bills too. This was a rough winter for us. So that's why you see an increase in those lines. There could be certain programs that may have been added. That type of stuff I'd have to look into to get back to you. But you will always usually see an increase in any sort of a line that is going to be affected by inflation.
Okay, thank you.
Then my next question is on the revenue page.
Okay.
I can find it. I noticed you reduced the interest. We were at 25% before, and it's down 2.25 points.
Yes. We reduced the budget. So when you reduce the budget, you need to reduce, the revenue has to balance with your expenditures. So we did make a few reductions by changing of the positions, which left us in a place where we could reduce the revenue slightly. And so I chose to go with the interest line because that's always an unknown, right? Right now the interest rates are holding steady. I think the last time I looked the other day, they were at about 3.52% for our high yield savings accounts. And a month or so ago, they were at 3.48. So it's right about holding steady, but you truly never know what's going to happen. So if I had to be uncertain about any of the lines and reduce the revenue, the interest earnings was the best place.
Okay, thank you. Do you have more questions? You can, yeah.
I'm going to think about it first.
Sacred Heart is closing. I know that we provide some services for students who are, residents of the district. I know there's possibilities of transportation increases if students who are resident here now have to travel further to go to Catholic school, or we may have enrollment increases because some of the students may come here. So what are the possible effects of the closure, and when will we know?
You okay with me talking to it? So we are aware of the closure, and we are watching what the possibilities could be. What I can tell you is that currently we transport 16 students. We have heard from 3 of them so far who are going to other schools, and we have gotten 1 enrollment, which is for kindergarten, and that is as of yesterday. So administration, transportation, our transportation department last week, when they heard of the closing, they did send out a school messenger to all of our Sacred Heart parents, letting them know that, you know, they were there to help them if they needed any guidance or help with changing the transportation around. And we're just gonna monitor the situation as they come in.
What's the deadline for submitting the request for transportation?
The deadline is April 1st, but given this situation with the notification of the school closing, that may have to be extended, extended a little bit, but more information to come on that. Did you want to say anything about it? No. Okay.
Does the deadline for April 1st, do we change it from the district perspective, or does the state do that?
It is not a state deadline. It is so the district can prepare for the following school year.
But we want to be amenable to support those parents between registration or
Yes.
transportation or whatever they need.
Okay. My question, the building-based subs, I can't remember the concept of this, but we went from 4 to 2. So where are they going to be now? Are they assigned anywhere?
No, they're going to be district, and we would assign them. The thought about that is still the fact that we are still trying to up our substitute teacher pool. We were looking at ways that we can still have substitutes full-time because it's very hard to recruit substitutes when it's infrequent. Trying to make it appealing so that people will come every day and however they're needed within that building. We did decrease it from the 4 to the 2 just so that we had subs here on a regular basis as opposed to trying to reach out to subs in the morning or try to find substitute teachers anyways. We also reduced it from 4 to 2 because of the fact that in April we are going to be doing the substitute job fair here on campus, and so we may be able to up our substitute teacher pool list from that as well. The thought is to try to have some certified teachers that are full-time subs here in the district, as opposed to those who are just looking to fill in between. And by doing that, we were able to look at those other positions that came to us from the community that we wanted to reinstate back into our employee FTEs.
Okay. So we will still promote people, if they want to sign up for the substitute list as
Absolutely,
well.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. Same thing with the aides, so that was reduced down to 2. Are they going to be at specific buildings, or they will be on an as-needed basis in the buildings?
So one of the things that we did as a leadership team is we looked at allocation, and not just for the aides, also for the custodial staff and all those other different positions, and realigned it so that we have people covering multiple shifts throughout the day. You're talking about the security aides?
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry, thank you for clarifying. Yeah, so we looked at security aides, how they were assigned, and which buildings and their shifts, and we were able to think about which ones could be morning shift, midday, and then moving into evening, afternoon. What we found was that we were heavy for evenings and very light during the day. So we had to look at reallocating, oh, sorry, that's custodial. Well, for both of them, we did look at that. Mhm. I apologize.
So security was heavy, what, in the day? Okay. When there's a lot of children here, right?
Right.
It doesn't make sense, they should be heavy during the day, because that's where most of the activity happens, right?
It should be heavier during the day
Right.
for the, for cleaning up and helping with those things. I think we only had like two people that started like 6:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning.
This is the
I'm trying to
security
remember their
aides, right?
schedules.
Yeah, I'm talking about the security aides, right?
I'm talking about custodial, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm talking about the aides.
Sorry.
I'm just trying to understand that piece, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So again, didn't know if they were going to be assigned to a building or, assigned as needed. So that's why I was asking that question. But
So I can answer your question.
okay.
There will be one of them will be a mid-shift here at Woodlands, 12 to 8 p.m. And the other one is going to be split between Jackson and Highview. We have a full staff of security at Bailey, so we didn't feel that there was a need there, but we are shorter on staff at the other 2 elementary schools. There was some thought into why we went with the 12 to 8 p.m. shift. One of which is that because our security is staffed heavier during the day here at Woodlands, there are events that happen at night. There are events, there are athletic events that happen, there's, different things, and it made sense to have somebody here until at least 8 p.m. at night. We do have 2 other shifts that are currently, I believe, 10 or 10:30 to 6 p.m. here at Woodlands. So between adding the 12 to 8, having those other 2 that are 10:30 or 10 o'clock to 6 p.m., and then our earlier shift, which I believe is 6 to 2. It's either 6 to 2 or 7 to 3. I can't remember exactly.
I think it's 6 to 2.
Yeah.
And then we're still going to be actively recruiting for that substitute list as well, just in case there's call-outs and things like that.
We are actively recruiting for all subs.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Sounds good. Going back to BOCES, the aidable reimbursement. Do we have a ballpark figure on how much we might be receiving for next year from them, based upon the services for this year? Has that been built in the budget somewhere?
Yes, it's actually in the state aid budget.
Okay.
So
it's
it's
around
one,
that.
if you were, I don't have the paper with me to tell you the exact amount, but in the state aid budget, it is broken down, and one of the lines is BOCES.
So we'll see that on one of those reports that you gave us, right? Is it in there somewhere? Is it like a code or something, or?
No.
No, don't have an estimate on what it could be.
Well, you have the, on the revenue side of it, did we break out BOCES? We didn't break out BOCES
I
on
don't
the
think you
revenue.
did, so that's,
No.
yeah, I think it's just.
I could provide that information to you. I just don't
Okay.
have it in front of me right now.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Real property taxes, that part of the revenue, that is inclusive of residential property taxes and also those that come from businesses, right? Or is that just?
The town of Greenberg collects the property taxes.
Okay.
And they forward those taxes to us.
So when we get taxes from the businesses, where does that fall?
I would have to refer you to the town of Greenberg. You're talking about when?
In your budget presentation, where's that number? From businesses, like-
No, your property taxes
Okay.
is from the town of Greenberg tax roll.
Okay.
And businesses are included in that.
Yeah, that was my
So,
question.
yes, businesses and
Mhm.
residences are included in your property taxes.
We don't have the granular detail in terms of what comes back from the businesses, do we? Do we have that level?
I
or-
do not have that information.
Can we get it at all? I'm
I
just
believe
curious
it's
for myself.
public. I believe it's public, and you could get it from the town of Greenberg.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, thank you. All right, I think that's it. Let me look at my notes. Okay, well, just one more thing I want to clarify, Mrs.
Sure.
Merrill. So you had mentioned something about how utility bills were higher across the board for everyone. You mentioned that we struggled with utility bills. You meant you yourself?
No,
or
I mean the school district.
do you want to expand on
Sure.
that a little bit?
So going into 25-26, I think, I did not build that budget. I'm working with a budget that was already built. And if you were to look at the 24-25 budget compared to 25-26, you will see that the utility lines were cut considerably. And I think that that was an anticipation of the savings for the energy performance project. The energy performance project isn't finished yet, so we haven't been able to feel the effects of those savings. And we were working with budget codes that weren't funded as much. So that's what I meant by we were struggling. I will say it was an extremely cold winter. With everything that's happening overseas, we know that oil and different things, the utilities are going up. They've gone up considerably. And a lot of our buildings still have some older infrastructure and don't hold the heat as well. So our utility bills this year were very high.
Lastly,
Sure.
you mentioned the savings from the EPC contract.
Yes.
Is that built in for this year at all, or is that going to be in another school budget?
That would be in another school budget because the measurement period is from the end of the project. I will tell you, when I built the 26-27 budget, I did not bring the utility codes back up to where they were in 24-25. I brought them up slightly. I'll give you an example. One in 24-25 was $400,000. That code in 25-26 was reduced to $100,000. In 26-27, I brought that code up to $200,000 because $100,000 was not enough. I do think that the energy performance contract, fingers crossed, hopefully, will be finished. I'm hoping by the summer, if not before, and we will have the benefit of seeing some utility savings next year. But as far as the project goes and the guarantee that we have, that doesn't come until about a year after the project is finished.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Is Mrs. Kent, okay, sorry.
So you have a question? Trustee Valen, okay.
I just, sorry, thank you for addressing Trustee Mann's question about the energy savings. I did see that, but I was also watching the news the last few days, and of course the projections for inflation have increased slightly. I don't remember CPI is factored into some of our contracts, and I was wondering, do we need to adjust those numbers at all, or are we still within our estimate that we included in the budget?
So I always projected that CPI was going to be about 2.7 to 2.8. So the projections that I did for transportation and the other areas that are affected by CPI, I used 3%. So I don't see at this point that we need to make any adjustments.
I want to bring us back to that revenue page again and the interest. And just ask the obvious question, if we had a place that we needed to reduce, could we reduce instead from the real property taxes? It's not a lot of reduction, but.
It was about $27,000, I think, right? 227? No, I don't think it was 227. The total change, but we originally started on our first budget presentation of $1,250. So that's the reduction there. It's only about $20 some odd thousand.
So do you want to kind of explain overall from the beginning, just so that everyone can follow?
Yeah.
If they hadn't seen the slide from before.
Correct. So the first budget that we proposed had an increase on interest earnings of about $250,000. Again, I think it's attainable, but it's one of those unknowns, fear of the unknown. So when we were able to bring the budget down a little bit from a I believe it was 3.56 change to 3.53, the difference was around $23,000, a little under $23,000. I took it from the interest earnings because that's not a guarantee. So to answer your question, yes, that is something that could happen, but I did not feel that that was in the best interest of the district.
Okay, and are there any further questions? Here we know, yes. Trustee Mann, sorry. Sit closer.
Yeah, I had a question about programming, so this might be for Dr. Njoku. Financial literacy. I was at a fireside chat this Saturday with EYL, with Rashad Bilal and Troy Milling. So this came up, how Mayapack School District, they've made financial literacy a requirement of their curriculum. So I wanted to know what Greenberg was thinking about, because Governor Hochul is trying to make that mandatory as well. So I just wanted to know, has that come up in budget discussion at all? And if so, how are you guys factoring that in?
I'm glad you brought that up. We have all been, and I would say regionally, everyone's aware. Yesterday, we sat in, it was open to all of New York State. The actual personal finance is mandatory now. It's a regulation. It starts in next year, 26, 27 for grades 4 to 8. So the grade bands, there are certain grade bands. So yesterday we were able to learn more about what the objectives were. Prior to that, we only knew the topics. So some school districts, went ahead using only the minimal information we have now around the topics, and what MAYAPEC actually did was look towards having a seal of financial literacy, which is what others will be doing, but some of us have been waiting for the additional information, which we received yesterday, as well as the communication that it is now a required expectation. It's been approved by the Board of Regents. So in terms of personal finance and the budget, there's no added cost to the budget. It's how we use what we already have. So identifying in the existing curriculum where personal finance through those objectives are found, understanding money. So we'll mostly lean towards mathematics and social studies. So we've already had conversations with our teachers. So once we knew about this, once it was communicated, we started having conversations, especially through our existing structures of our PLCLT or leadership teams. So the teachers are aware of it. We've communicated it through the education committee. Last week I communicated through a parent university when we were talking about graduation and what's upcoming. So in terms of communicating to the public, we did do that. In terms of the budget, it's a consideration, but it's no added burden or no added cost. We're working with what we have. All right, but look forward to a seal of financial literacy coming soon.
Okay, are there any other questions from trustees? Okay, hearing none. When is your next budget workshop open to the public?
I believe it is April 14th.
I feel like you had a slide before.
There was a slide. We do have a couple others that aren't open to the public at the local, residents, but we're not advertising them because I think only you have to live there to be able to come. Let me just go back. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. So here we have Tuesday, April 14th, budget workshop number 3. That's going to be at Highview Multipurpose Room.
If we can also add, the one in the community is
High Point.
Just so that those members of the community know that that's where that session will be for those community members. And we did change the May 12th to TDYCC, so that'll be an open community one coming up in May as well.
Okay, but there is one open April 14th prior to the adoption at the 21st.
Yes.
Okay. So everyone can attend that one if they have any additional remaining concerns or questions. This is still ongoing. I really want to stress to our community that the board continues to work and talk in collaboration with our administration about the budget percentage, the increase to our household taxes. So this is an ongoing budgeting process. So I don't want anyone panicking. And April 14th, we will hear another presentation if there's any changes, et cetera, and people can come out and ask questions then as well.
Can I just say one thing also? If you're not able to come to a budget workshop, you can feel free to email. I do have an email. It comes directly to me. It is budget@greenbergcsd.org. It's on the bottom left-hand corner of that slide. So feel free to email any questions you have, and I'll be happy to get back to you. I would also recommend that you check the budget page on the district website because we're going to be constantly be adding things to them. We do have a question and answer section that's going to be added shortly. That is where we are housing all of our budget presentations, both in a bilingual version and a fully Spanish version for each one of our budget presentations that we do. So on board docs, you can see tonight's in Spanish and bilingual English-Spanish. It might take a day or two to get to the budget page, but there will be things added as we progress through the budget cycle. So again, feel free to reach out and ask any questions that you have. I'm happy to answer them.
The time for Highview, I think I missed it. What time? Is it a finance committee meeting? Okay.
It was either 6:30 or 7, but we'll get confirmation for you.
Okay.
6:30? 6:30.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, trustees, thank you for the move back and forth. And now we are, what? Hello? Okay. Thank you, trustees, for the move back and forth. And now we are going to get to our reports. The ex officio student reports getting tabled, board president's reports getting tabled, and we're going to go to our superintendent of schools report. Dr. Chisholm?
Thank you, President Mears. Just a few things. One, I'm going to talk about a little bit about academics, arts, and athletics. The first one is Monday evening during the NAACP Education Committee. 10 of our 6th grade students for R.J. Bailey read their Black History Month essays. It was really an amazing showcase of their research and talents that the students exemplified, and I was really, really proud of them. Ms. Khan joined on that virtual meeting. Those students that were able to speak in front of other people that they did not know and were so articulate, and their research was very well put together. They got a lot of kudos, but I do want to give kudos to Devin Owens, Brandon Scott, Elijah White, Genna Rumi, Jai Churchill, Kamaya Iglehart, Lotus Kabede, I'm probably saying that last name wrong, I apologize, Sofia Rosas, Tomas Castro, and Zavi Johnson. So congratulations to those 10 students who were able to showcase their work. Just thinking about in the last week, between the IB Art Expo, the Lightning Thief musical, Lunar New Year celebration, a lot of things going on, and all showcasing all the good work and the talent that our Greenberg students have here. So I wanted to elevate that. And on April 7th, during the board work session, we're going to congratulate. So we've extended our girls and boys varsity basketball team, our Lady Falcon bowlers who went to the States, Kaylani and Sophia, as well as members of the play. So we want to invite them all as we congratulate them for their hard work and their showcase and dedication on April 7th. Also, I just wanted to share that yesterday at the Western New York Teacher Recruitment Days, where over 400 teacher candidates and 115 employers across New York State as well as the country were in attendance. And basically we moved forward 19 teacher candidates with certifications from early childhood, social studies, mathematics, and special education to round 1 interviews that'll be held here in the district level. And of those 19, 8 were from the Westchester area. So I just want to say that was great. A lot of them looking to come back home from White Plains, a couple from Long Island area that are in that West New York region for college, one of which is also an alum of this district. So it was nice to meet her and interview her to possibly be a teacher in Greenberg Central Schools. So we were one of 3 districts from the Lower Hudson represented there. We were joined by our colleagues from Harrison and Irvington in that space. So it was a great opportunity. And then just the final piece, next week is spring break, so I encourage everyone to rest, enjoy their time off, and be ready to finish the year strong as we enter into the season of assessments, New York State assessments for April. All right, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Chisholm. Is there any question or comment? Anything? Hearing none, we will keep going. I just want to say I'm great, and I'm greatly thankful. I'm thankful to hear about the great recruitment efforts, and I look forward to seeing if any of those candidates will work out for the district. Next, we have our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Dr. Njoku.
So thank you. So this month, we continue to see exciting momentum across our district as we strengthen both classroom learning and real-world opportunities for our students. As mentioned earlier, personal finance, I am just handing this out. This actually details the learning objectives that were shared yesterday. Not expecting you to read all of it, but just get a taste of what the expectation is, outlined for grade bands to 4, then to 8, then to 12. Also, in terms of expanding opportunities beyond the classroom, this past weekend, our Woodlands Middle High School students participated in a career expo hosted by Good for Girls, Inc. at Westchester Community College. This experience was powerful, engaging. They had activities like CPR, suturing, and they got to connect with professionals. So one of those professionals happens to be one of our board members, Trustee Jacobson. And then we want to give special thanks to Ms. Cabell because she worked with me at my table, at our table where we bedazzled a bit, but it was called Bedazzle Your Brilliance, Careers in Education, letting them know things beyond, teacher, so that director, what it leads to, that trajectory. And then Mr. Greaves, Dr. Foy, and Ms. Luanga hosted the young ladies from the morning sessions to the Career Expo. So thank you to them. In terms of last week, we had our parent university to speak about pathways to graduation, college, and careers. Thank you to the board members who were able to attend. During that presentation, that presentation was shared out community-wide along with a Q&A we put together. I want to thank Dr. Foy, who is a great presenter and really did a great job in terms of communicating and answering the parent participant questions, as well as Ms. Borowski, and also thank you to Principal Smith for being present there as well. In terms of data, we did have an opportunity through the Education Committee last week to review middle of year data, to share that with the board and discuss, the different multiple measures outside of iReady that helps us make decisions and making determinations about interventions and supports for our young people. I do want to highlight a partnership that we have with TDYCC through grants that we received. This is in fulfillment, so giving an update from last year, we were able to have 11 of our students participate in the spring programming, the aquatic programming at TDYCC through grant funds that continued on towards this year. So that is a very positive thing, just knowing that the money is being well spent and our students are getting an experience. So thank you, Ms. Johnson, for ensuring that we continue to fulfill that expectation. And finally, this week, it's been very busy, and we're going to keep from what Dr. Chisholm said to what we're communicating here, celebrating culture and community. Dr. Yang, this Monday, amazing. Every year, Lunar New Year celebration, vibrant colors, performances from our young people, dragon, lion dances, umbrella dances, and then not only that, but continuing that sharing with our young people in the next day by visiting all the schools. So that concludes, and in terms of testing, that Dr. Chisholm stated, please go onto the website. There's testing dates that vary across buildings for New York State assessment. Currently, the New York State, the NYSAA, the New York State Alternatively Assessed Students, that started in March, I believe March 9th, but then there's various testing times, so please check the website to make sure that you know the testing date for your child. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Njoku. Any other questions, comments about the report? Hearing none, we'll move on to our Assistant Superintendent for Business report. Hi, Ms. Merrill.
Thank you. I would like to bring up to the podium our district treasurer, Miss Amy Ashley Moore, who will be giving our January treasurer's report.
Good evening, everyone. It's the February 2026 Treasurer's Report.
Oh, sorry, my mistake.
It's okay. The February 2026 Treasurer's Report is as follows. The general fund beginning balance for February
Amy.
20...
We should be doing the
January, yes. February?
Do you have
Paper said February.
Hang tight 1 second. We need to, the wrong report was being read, so we're getting the numbers for January.
I'm confused. Just so I can understand, because we're getting ready to go into April. Are we 2 months behind when we're reading these reports? Because I would think February will be closed out and we're ready to rock and roll, no?
There's always a lag, because you have to actually wait for the month to end, and then there's usually a lag, and then through the board, we have the review and then the approval.
So is this the one? I have my corporate hat on. Maybe that's what it is. I'm gonna be quiet. Our February votes are done.
It's attached to the agenda.
Are you all set, Amy?
Sounds like it's done now, but we didn't see it on the work session yet. January.
Forget it. Maybe it's late. I don't know.
You're saying, is it delayed, or? Are you guys ready? Sorry. Go ahead. I don't know what's going on. Okay.
We're ready?
So we're doing the report.
Okay. The January 2026 Treasurer's Report is as follows. The general fund beginning balance for January 2026 was $30,319,826.45. The district received a total of $16,001,523.91 in receipts. The district issued $3,458,416.83 in payroll checks. The district also dispersed $3,155,895.10 in accounts payables, in addition to $684,832 in due from other funds. The ending balance for the general fund was $39,022,206.43. For the month of January 2026, the district issued 925 payroll checks and 218 accounts payable disbursements. The claims auditor audited all of our disbursements. Are there any questions?
Thank you. We
I have a question. Yeah, this is more informational purposes.
Okay.
We received $16 million this in January. Do you mind explaining what is the big driver of such a large amount?
So oftentimes when we get receipts, it's a plethora of, it could be miscellaneous items, it could be aid that's coming in, it could be, it's just a lot. It's a
Sales
lot of
tax.
Sales tax. There's so many different areas in terms of receipts. If you want the breakdown of it, it would be shown on the cash flow.
Yeah, no, that's
statement.
fine.
Yeah.
I just thought, because I remember at one meeting, you had told us that, I think it's twice a year, we get reimbursement
Yes.
from something. And I'm just trying to figure out if this is that something.
No.
That's all. That's what I'm
Right,
getting
no,
at.
that's gonna actually be in the next month's report, which you will see
okay.
Westchester County fourth quarter taxes and property taxes coming through.
Gotcha. All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
So are there any other questions from trustees? No? Okay, we're going to move on. Is the assistant, what? Okay.
Thank you,
The
Amy.
Assistant Superintendent of Business, do you have any report?
The only report that I was going to mention is, again, to just let everybody know to be careful out on our campus. We are working, facilities is working hard to try to fill the potholes. They had done a pretty good job, and then last week, I think we had some like torrential rain, and unfortunately, it opened up some of those holes again. So they are working every day out there, but please drive at your own risk. It is hard on all of us that come onto the campus.
Thank you. Are there
That's
any
all I have.
questions? Trustee Valen?
Yes, I apologize. I confirmed wrong information earlier, so I'm going to state for the record that the budget workshop, of course I closed that page, the budget workshop scheduled for April 14th is actually scheduled for 7 p.m. 7 p.m. on April 14th.
At Highview in the multipurpose room.
Correct. Thank you. And I will send an email tomorrow because I don't see it on the calendar yet.
Okay, are there any more questions for the budget report? Yes, Trustee Alon?
My question's not for the budget report, but it is for you. So regarding the RFP for the science labs, did we set a new RFP for the plumbing contractor? And what was the status, if you have it?
So we did have a new RFP go out for the plumbing. The bid openings were, I think it was yesterday. So we should be getting something in writing from BBS with their recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Mann, did you have a comment?
I do, now that we're on the subject of the science labs. I forget, the estimate for the labs, that's about $3 million? Is that safe to say?
A little over, yeah.
A little over, okay, thank you. Just wanted to clarify that.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? I will only ask, I guess, or add, that I was asked that whether or not you were going to go with the budget presentation to the other PTAs, that someone said that they know you went to the RJ Bailey PTA, and if you were also going to be speaking with or presenting at Lee F. Jackson, Highview, and Woodlands Middle High School.
What I would say is if there is a group that is interested in having a budget presentation, that they should feel free to reach out to me. We did, not just myself, but a group of us did present for the RJB PTA because we were invited.
I'd like to add too that because we have 5 PTAs and we have a very aggressive budget presentation schedule, that if the PTA council would like to convene all the PTAs together for a budget presentation, then we'd be open to and welcome to that. But to conduct 4 additional for each of the PTAs would be excessive for the timing.
I agree. We have a busy budget presentation schedule.
Okay, thank you. And next on our agenda is board discussion. 26, 27 proposed Board of Ed meeting dates. If you look, trustees, we have a little calendar going here with all of the dates. This is something we're going to select for next year that has all of the dates that we would meet for both regular meetings and work sessions, the entire calendar year. Keep in mind, please, trustees, that we also have a July meeting that is not on this calendar that we will need to have. There'll be some discussion around that in a minute. And then also keep in mind that we try to have some sort of a retreat as well in the summer. So first item is the meeting dates. Right now we have September 15th and 29th. Then we have October 6th and 20th. Then we have November 3rd and 17th.
Question?
Yes.
Is there an election date right around there?
So October 3rd is election day. It looks like that's also a meeting day. Do you have concerns about that? You want to move it? We could either move it to the 10th.
Not enough to want to change it, no.
Okay. I should go back. September, I probably will have concerns about the 29th, or I would just be absent. I don't know, since school is starting on the 3rd, if we want to try to have a board meeting on the 8th, or is that too soon? Or is that too soon after school begins? But maybe have the 8th and the 22nd. What do people feel? I see Trustee Valen moving.
I see the why. I see I believe, if we move the September meetings to the 8th and the 22nd, of course, it comes after 2 Mondays when we have no school in session and possibly no staff. I have to look at those holidays. However, I also realize that we are often trying to confirm hirings in the beginning of September. I would hate to artificially wait a week or two to get that business done. So I'm just throwing out more food for thought. I'm not really giving a concrete proposal.
Well, is there a reason why we can't move it to 8 and 22? Does anyone have any feedback on that? Anybody object to moving it? Okay.
It's fine with me.
Yeah, it just needs to change our planning process as far as when questions would be submitted and for heads up for meetings, fellow board members, and myself.
Okay. All right, so September 8th and 22nd, let's make that adjustment. Patricia?
But does administration have any concerns?
Well, I'm asking. Do you have any concerns, Dr. Chisholm? Anybody in administration have any concerns? Speak now.
I don't foresee any. I'm checking with my cabinet once we adjust.
I'm sorry?
I said we adjust based on.
Yeah, it's just earlier. Okay, then we have, so again, October 6th and 20th, November 3rd and 17th, December 1st and 15th, January 12th and 26th.
Hold up.
Again, I'm going to wonder why we're waiting.
12th and 26th, because we're gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but we also will have the 16th, 17th, 18th, 21st, 22nd, whatever happened over the break that, things, I wouldn't want to jinx us, but things break, there's weather issues. Then the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 11th, like we're having a lot of space in between. It's almost a month between the 15th and the 12th to meet, huh? I was wondering, do we move it up to the 5th and the 19th? What?
Then we have,
So do we want to move it up from January 5th to 19th, and then maybe move February 2nd and leave the 23rd? Like no one's speaking, so I don't know if you like it, you don't like it.
My
Yes,
hand is
Trustee
raised.
Valen.
This one, one person is probably more tempted to leave it where it is, because I would be more concerned about the big gap, the 2-week gap, 2 to 3 week gap. Hold on, no, it would be, if we go to 5th and 19th, you'd move it to the 2nd.
Right, and then you
to
just
the
have.
23rd.
You just have
So
the
you're leaving
February
10
break off.
days
and
plus
you have-
break. You're leaving 2 weeks there.
Yeah, 2 weeks in between.
I'm almost thinking that there will be less happening over holiday break than there would be over winter break.
What?
I'm thinking out loud.
What did we do last year?
What's on the calendar is what Ms. Pineda said. It's the template that we have this year.
So we did, okay. I didn't use it last year. This year.
You're thinking people will have trouble getting ready for the 5th?
Yeah.
of January?
That's the
Coming
concern.
back from vacation?
That's the concern President Maris has.
Yeah, I would think that would be a problem too.
Or no, she wants to move it there.
Yeah, I was suggesting moving it there to not have so much, to have a whole month between December 15th and January 12th. Even though it's not a month of in school or in work, but it's a month of time. But if everyone's fine with it, I mean, I'm suggesting the move. Do people not want to do the move? What do people feel? Mm-hmm. So you want to leave it?
I don't know.
What happened this year? Did people feel like it should be, when are we having a meeting? Because that's the feedback I got.
Well,
Like there was a lot of time. I mean, there was 2 weeks off. Go ahead, sorry.
I guess if I'm looking at it, I hear what you're saying, that there's a month in between, but just thinking of when the various agenda planning meetings would happen, I feel like it would be more difficult to move it to January 5th than it would be for the other dates we were looking at. Right.
Well,
It's 2 to 3 meetings just to prep for the meeting.
Leadership on
That's
Right.
what she's
December
saying.
30th?
Okay.
Right.
And then what about the 20, yeah, so, okay, so then everything's going to be later. Because really, between the 9th and the 23rd, there's no leadership meeting opportunity. There's like literally 3 days, 4 days, 4 days of
The 9th and
open.
the 23rd. What month are you on now?
February, sorry.
Oh.
Because my suggestion was moving everything up, but this
Well, that one
way,
would
You could cut either one.
there'd be more of an opportunity because we'd have the week of the 15th
There's
or the
nothing
week of the
happening.
22nd.
yeah, there's nothing happening before the 23rd. But okay. So no one really wants to move that. Then we have February 9th, 23rd. What?
I don't know if others have a thought. 'cause
No one seems to be interested. Okay. 9th and 23rd, everything's quiet. In the March, we have 9th and 30th. Then in April, we have, what? Oh, then in April, we have 6th and 20th. Then in May, we have 4th and 25th. I'm going to suggest moving that 4th and, yes.
Sorry, I'm just guessing the April dates were chosen both based on when we have to,
Budget vote.
gotcha. The parts that we're not saying out loud to everyone is the budget adoption date and the either BOCES or Southwestern BOCES election. Okay.
Okay. So is the election date next year the 18th? Okay.
For
That's
May.
why it's not
That's
there
the
yet.
budget vote.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at the April dates for the required dates, President Maris.
Yeah, yes, that's fine. Maybe we could have that notation next time, so we don't wonder about that. And then we're having the May 25th, which will be my birthday, then June 1st, then June 15th, then June 29th. So 25th and 1st will be back to back.
The 4th has to be the budget hearing.
And what?
I'm looking at the budget hearing date, May 4th.
So does anyone object to any of the change? The change is going to be the September meeting, but other than that, no objections to anything? Going once, going twice, yes?
Do we want to have a hard date for July, the July reorg? Or
Sure,
do we
let's-
want to leave it open?
Let's
July,
discuss-
what, 26 or 27?
Let's,
26.
Which year
This-
is he
this-
referencing?
yeah, he's
Yes.
talking about this July,
The
which is
reorg.
right here. That's in the reorg. This is 26. So, yes, let's talk about it. So both by Ms. Cantori.
But that won't go on the approved calendar for,
It does not go on the approved calendar. We're done
Okay.
with the approved calendar.
Okay.
Now we're talking about July reorg meeting or annual org meeting. So I know both Dr. Chisholm and Trustee Long have some conflicts going on. My phone is dead, so I will not be looking at it, but can we just get the verbal unavailable dates so that we can, Dr. Chisholm, you're
7th through the 15th of July.
7/7 through 7/15. Okay. And that's it for July?
That's it for July.
Okay, and Trustee Long?
July 1st through July 12th. However, I could do remote.
Yes, I got it in email. So we do have, so we would have to be either before July 7th. My phone's dead, so I can't look at it exactly, but are you available remotely from the 1st to the 6th, I guess? No? Okay. And then, or, the 6th? What? Oh, sorry, Trustee Jacobson, give me your dates. Would that include the 6th?
We haven't settled on time yet.
Okay.
But usually we're away for the 4th.
So right now, the 6 looks like it might be a magic number, but now you might be away. When will you know for certain, Trustee Jacobson? Ish?
Ideally sooner than later, but it's not totally up to me.
Okay. Trustee Valen, yes.
No, I'm trying to figure out, you can do remote on the 6th.
Yes.
Before the 6th, you cannot.
Yes, that's what she said.
Because if the 6th is her travel day, she will not be able to be.
I know. That's why I just asked her when
I
she
know,
knew.
I'm thinking out loud, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
Because I work Mondays and Tuesdays, those are typically harder days for me too.
Oh, okay.
Mondays and Tuesdays.
So, okay. So now we're looking remote-wise. You can do, tell me the dates you said.
These are Tuesdays.
I can do any time the week of the 6th, or I could do the 3rd also, which is that Friday.
That's probably going to be a holiday.
I was going to say, but.
So we're looking, okay.
Because of the.
So are we able to have a meeting after the 15th?
Just add my 2 cents.
What?
I'm away the last week of July.
Well, give me your dates.
Nothing is planned yet, but we'll probably be away July 25th through August 1st.
25th through August 1st. Okay, thank you. Does July 25th work for everybody?
Oh my God, wait a minute.
I'm sorry, July, okay, wait. July 20th, stop having a meltdown. She just said the 25th, so I repeated the 25th, but sorry about that. Yeah, thank you. July 20th, which is a Monday, does that work for everyone? Anyone?
I am so concerned.
Trustee Warner.
As long as there's no legal requirement for when the work meeting happens.
Trustee Jacobson, Monday doesn't work for you. Okay, I'm sorry, Trustee Jacobson.
Would it be an all day? What would be the general?
This is just for our org meeting.
So it's an annual org meeting. It's kind of like our evening meeting, where we're just like this, where we go over all the annual appointments for the year. Any additional new resolutions that are on the agenda? It's not like a retreat, like an all-day thing.
I think a lot would depend on timing and meeting.
Okay.
So, if that's the only day that works,
Okay.
then I can try to figure that out, but I think if it's, I can do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, not easier.
Got you. Ms. Pineda, with the new, the approval that we did, it pushes us out to have our meeting by what date? July?
In July, on or before the Monday after July 20th. So as long as we have it by the 27th of July.
Okay.
On or before the Monday after the 20th?
So
What
does
if the
the-
Monday is the 20th?
Does the 16th or 17th work? Because Trustee Jacobson said Wednesday, Thursday, Friday works for her. Dr. Chisholm's getting back the 15th. So for, what? So for an annual org, the 16th or 17th are Thursday and Fridays. Yes, Trustee Valen.
I'm sorry.
Do you,
In July, on or before the Monday after the 20th?
no, we're
If-
talking about the 16th or 17th.
I'm talking about the policy.
Okay.
If the Monday is the 20th, I'm unclear as to what the rule is. So I believe that we need to verify, please, because that might be the deadline.
So are you free the 16th or 17th, which eliminates the 20th concern right now?
Someone else said they weren't
Yes, I'm
available
free.
then.
Thank you, Mr. Warner. Trustee Warner. Jacobson's free, Trustee Mans? Free. Free? 16th or 17th. It's a Thursday or a Friday, 16th or 17th. We'll shoot for the 16th so that our staff isn't here late on a Friday, but July 16th, going once? Yes?
I'm available.
Yes?
I do have concern with waiting so long if we have hires that are pending, so they don't get taken away from us.
I agree.
I have extreme concerns.
So we have a meeting on the 29th, and then we have a meeting on the 16th. So that would be 2 and a half weeks. 2 and a half weeks. Yes. So let's tentatively go with July 16th in the evening at 6:30. Sounds good. For our annual org meeting. 6:30 p.m. You might be jet lagged, but that's okay. We're gonna make it work. And trustees, email, like go home, really look at your schedule, talk to family, and let us know if there's any concern. Yes.
Just to confirm, so the date changes for the calendar will only apply to September, so we're switching to the 8th and the 22nd?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Now, retreat planning, I'm not going to even attack right now because y'all are all going to have crazy schedule in August. But please start thinking about your schedule in August because eventually we will start working on the retreat. Yes, Trustee Valen?
Are we able to convene special meetings if we haven't had reorg?
We're going to have reorg July 16th.
I'm just saying, in the intervening 2 to 3 weeks, are we able to
I
convene
don't know.
a special meeting?
Ask Ms. Pineda. Ms. Pineda, can we have a special meeting if we don't have reorg?
Please verify.
She'll find out and let us know.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Want to move on? Wonderful. Next item on our agenda is, we're at the end. Before our meeting approvals, is there a motion for an executive session?
I move that we adjourn to executive session to discuss information relating to proposed pending or current litigation, collective bargaining negotiations, the employment history of particular persons, personnel matters and their employee records, and matters deemed confidential by state or federal law, including seeking advice from counsel.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. It's 9:35 p.m. We are now in executive session. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Oh my God, I forgot my
We gotta flip all the way ahead. All right, guys, we are back from executive session. It is 12:30 in the morning, the next day. We have our regular meeting approvals. Can I get a motion for personnel, instructional items, F1?
I move that we approve the instructional personnel items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. F2, personnel, non-instructional items.
I move that we approve the non-instructional personnel items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. F3, board action items.
I move that we approve the board action items presented to the board for approval this evening with the exception of I2, which is tabled.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. You got that, Patricia? I2 is okay. F4.
Finance items.
Thank you. Finance items. Can I get a motion?
I move that we approve the finance items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. F5, business items.
I move that we approve the business items presented to the board for approval this evening with the exception of item K2, which will be amended.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Do you have a motion for K2, Trustee Warner, that you want to
I move that
clarify?
we approve item K2 that will be amended as follows. In the last three sets of lines below the now therefore be it hereby resolved, it will sound like this. Now therefore be it hereby resolved, the superintendent recommends that the Board of Education approve the following bids for the Science Lab renovations project pursuant to the letter from BBS Architects dated March 4th, 2026. And here comes the changed part. Mount Olympus Restoration LLC, total of bid award number GC1 and alternates, general construction, $1,567,000. Tribeca Air Conditioning, total bid award number MC1 and alternates, mechanical construction, $657,241. RLJ Electric Corporation, base bid award EC1 plus alternates 1 and 2, electrical construction, $564,600.
It's been properly moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next, we have F6, is it? Pupil Personnel Services items?
I move that we approve the pupil personnel services items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Let's move on to M, closing items. Any new business? Hearing
Me.
Trustee Mans.
Yes, I just wanted to follow up on the status of our AI policy, and that is coming up because it appears that New York City, they will be releasing theirs very soon. So I just want to know where we were as a district with ours. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. So that is still in process. We've gotten the student feedback. Ms. Verdina is actively working on the AI policy. What she did just complete, though, is the instructional technology plan, which is due in June 2026. So she's been working on them kind of simultaneously, but considering that that document is state required and we have to get that in, she wanted to finalize that and has submitted the final draft for that for review, and then we'll get back to the AI policy right after. You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other new business? Let's move on to adjournment. Is there a motion?
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. 12:34. We are adjourned. Good night.